If only people understood that everybody has a different way of grieving, or there's different types of grief. Grief isn't just losing somebody, like the death of someone. It could be a death or a loss of something in particular, or what you thought was gonna be didn't happen, or a relationship you had for a really long time and it didn't last the way you hoped, or a friendship that you thought was gonna be for a long time or for a lifetime and it didn't, or it was a promotion that you thought you were gonna get and you didn't get it. You thought you were gonna be a lot farther than you expected for yourself, and you're still not where you thought you would be. Grief is very funny. Grief, in whatever type of grief you're dealing with, and yes, the majority of grief is you lose somebody you care about, they pass away, they're no longer in this world, so that is grief too. I mean, that's the number one grief, and then there's many others if people don't know. And it's hard to deal with a type of grief and you don't know how to, I don't want to say get over it, but it's kind of like, how do you get out of how do you get out of that stillness? How do you find the good in things? How do you move on and stop seeing things negatively? That's the question. I think in any type of grief, I think it's really hard to get out of that feeling. And even us who are believers and have a relationship with Christ, I think, we can pray, we can read our word, we can go even deeper in our relationship with God, but that grief is still there. You trust that God will get you out of it, or you trust God to heal your heart, but you just don't feel it. Days are harder to get up and do stuff. Things that you found a passion for, it's kind of like there. It's just sitting there. You don't know what to do with it anymore. There's things you can't even tell people because their reaction might not be the reaction you're looking for, or you've lost trust in telling people because everything is, oh, you need to let that go, or you need to rest in God. I'm like, I know, or whatever sentence you want to put it in. It's like, I know, but it doesn't make the pain go away. It doesn't make it easier. God can remove that, but sometimes when the grief repeats itself, it's kind of harder and harder to stop focusing on it. And yes, the enemy will tend to use that to keep you in that little hole that you're in, but you also have to trust God to help you get out. I know this is like all over the place, but I think grief does that too. When you have a relationship with God, it's like your thoughts are everywhere. Like, how good God is, but you have moments where you're just like, are things gonna get better? I don't think like this, but some people might, God, are you good? Or God, are you there? Or God, where are you? There's many questions, and you start to understand people that don't believe because they deal with a lot of stuff. But those that have been in the faith, maybe as long as I have, or even longer, we go through grief, or different types of grief, or different types of anger, sadness, etc. Somehow we look like we manage it better, but deep down it's hard to get out of that little funk, that little that stillness. You want to see the good in things. You want to get out of what it is that's keeping you from moving forward. You pray to God about it, but you don't see a change, and you try to change yourself. You try to make improvements. You try to see other ways to get out, and it's like harder to do that. I don't think I had a point to this video. I think I just wanted to let people know that there's many different types of grief, and sometimes it's not easy to get out of that grieving process. If people only understood, you kind of start to lose interest on a lot of things. You start to not want to do stuff anymore. There are days that you just want to lay there and just do absolutely nothing. There are other days that you motivate yourself a little bit more to do something. And there's other days where it's like you used to have such a passion for doing this and you just don't have that passion anymore because of the hurt, because of people rejecting you, because of people doing this, because of people doing that, or because it's not the same without such and such person, depending on what your grief is. There's just some things that it's just not the same no more, and you don't see the point. You don't see like what was fun about that, or what was interesting about that. Why did I like that? That reasoning behind you doing things or you liking certain things just kind of like disappear, or they fall back in some corner of your mind and you don't know how to obtain it back. There's fear, there's worry, there's anxiety. There are probably new feelings or feelings that you had before, but it's stronger, or you don't know how to maintain it yourself. All I can really say, and this is supposed to be like, how do I inspire you to get out of that? What more is there besides prayer? And just wait on the Lord for the Lord to turn things around, because he can. I think the number one thing is go to the Lord, right? And I know you'd be like, well, Natasha, this whole video, you've been saying this and that. How do you make it easy? Like, it's easy for you to say. Yeah, no, I'm the one making the video. Yes, it's easier said than done, but do that. Pray. Get closer to God. Next thing, seek help. And I'm not saying, I don't mean to say it in like a joking way, but for real, seek help. Like, talk to your doctor, talk to someone that, a medical professional, therapist, someone that can help you, give you coping skills and next steps. And if you don't have that, find someone. If you want somebody specifically that believes in the same thing that you do and does incorporate psychology in it, that'd be better, because it's good to talk about your faith, where you're at, plus also the psychology part of mental health aspect of what you're facing. Find that fire again and be mindful of the circle you have, and make sure that the people that are in your circle are people that actually encourage you to God and encourage you to seek help for you to be better. Pray to God for him to guide you of where you start first. Besides prayer and reading your word, what would be the next step? Have God lead you for you to find healing, and for you to find the proper steps to obtain healing, and to slowly get you out of that grief. It might not go away for forever, but at least it can get you to a point where you can continue life and live your life and enjoy it and enjoy what God has for you. Now, will the grief completely go away? No, I'm not saying it will, but at least you'll find healing. At least you'll find comfort, and at least you'll be able to get back on track with your life and be back on track to where God wants to take you next, and not be at a standstill or allow the enemy to take away your joy and where God wants to take you. I hope this relates to anybody who watches. Peace out, my peoples, and I hope for those of you in grief, I hope you get better, and I hope God helps in your healing process, just like I pray for God to help me in mine.